Remember when they told us piracy was dead? Yeah, that was a lie. Because right now, as Netflix and Disney are counting their billions, piracy is hitting levels we haven't seen in over a decade. And the reason why is going to completely change how you see your streaming subscriptions. Back in the early 2010s, when Netflix was the king, piracy was actually on the decline. Why bother with torrents when, for just $8 a month, you could get almost every show and movie in one convenient, cheap place? It just made sense. The entertainment industry declared victory. They thought they'd won the war. But then, something happened. Something the suits in Hollywood should have seen coming. And now, we're living in a world where piracy isn't just back. It's thriving in ways that would make the golden age of Napster blush. Let's jump back to 2019. This was the turning point. Disney yanked all its content from Netflix to launch Disney+. NBC Universal announced Peacock. HBO Max was warming up. Every media giant saw Netflix's success and wanted a piece of the action. On paper, it's logical, right? They own the content, so why let Netflix pocket all the cash? It's basic business. But here's what they either didn't consider or just didn't care about. Every new service meant another monthly bill, another app, another password, another interface to learn, and another chunk of cash flying out of your bank account. Think about it. In 2012, one Netflix subscription gave you The Office, Friends, all the Disney and Marvel movies, Star Wars, and most of HBO's hits. One app, one bill. Simple. Fast forward to today. Want to watch The Office? You need Peacock. Friends? That's on Max. Disney movies? Disney+. And that's just scratching the surface. You've got Netflix, Hulu, Prime Video, Apple TV+, Paramount+, and a dozen others. The average American household now pays for 4 different streaming services. That's easily $40 to $60 a month, and that's for the versions with ads. If you want an ad-free experience, you're looking at $80, maybe even $100 a month. That's more than the cable bills we all ran away from in the first place. So what happened? People started doing the math, and it wasn't adding up. Around 2020, piracy websites saw their traffic explode. We're talking massive spikes. Some sites reported traffic increases of over 200% compared to 2018. But here's the truly fascinating part. The data showed that a huge number of these visitors were also paying for multiple streaming subscriptions. They were paying customers who were also pirating. How does that make any sense? Let me break it down for you. Let's say you're subscribed to Netflix and Disney+. You're already paying about $30 a month. Then your friend raves about an amazing show on Max. Are you really going to shell out another $15 a month just for one show? Probably not. So you find it elsewhere. Or maybe you subscribe for a month, binge the show, and then cancel, which is a huge hassle to repeat. Here's another all-too-common scenario. It's movie night. You search for a film on Netflix. Not there. Check Disney+. Nope. Hulu? Nada. You see it on Amazon Prime, but even though you're a Prime member, they want you to rent it for another $5. At this point, you're just frustrated. You just want to watch the movie. This is what the industry calls subscription fatigue, and it's a very real thing. People are tired of juggling apps, tired of shows jumping from one platform to another, and definitely tired of paying more and more each month for a fragmented library. But it gets worse. Because the services aren't just expensive, they're also getting worse at the actual streaming part. In 2023, Netflix cracked down on password sharing, a practice they practically encouraged for years. Remember Netflix and chill? That culture was built on sharing. Now they want everyone to pay up, and other services are following their lead. Then there's the content rotation problem. You add a show to your watch list, planning to get to it later. 2 months pass, you're finally ready to watch, and poof, it's gone. Vanished from the platform. Services constantly remove content to save on licensing fees. The very promise of streaming, watch what you want, when you want, is eroding. And don't even get me started on the ads. Streaming was supposed to be the ad-free future. Now, nearly every service has an ad-supported tier, and they're jacking up the price of ad-free plans to push you towards them. Another huge driver for piracy is geo-restrictions. You hear about an amazing show everyone's talking about, but it's only available in the UK or Australia. Well, pirates don't have that problem. There are no borders in the world of piracy. Everyone gets access to everything, all at the same time. And speaking of access, let's talk quality. Streaming services compress their video files. A lot. That 4K you're paying extra for? It's not true 4K like you'd get from a Blu-ray. The bitrate is much lower. Insanely, pirate sites often have higher quality video files than the official paid services. You're literally paying for a worse experience. Add to that the constant technical glitches, apps that crash, endless buffering on a good internet connection, audio out of sync, problems that pirates solved years ago, but multi-billion-dollar companies still can't seem to get right. Now, here's the real kicker. This is the moment that proves piracy has already won. The streaming services are starting to adapt to piracy, not the other way around. Think about it. When Netflix started, they created a massive all-in-one library to be more convenient than piracy, and it worked. But now that streaming is scattered across dozens of services, pirates are once again offering the superior user experience, and the big companies are noticing. They're experimenting with bundles, like the Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus package. They're merging, like Max and Discovery Plus. They're slowly, painfully realizing that people don't want 15 different subscriptions. They want everything in one place, like piracy offers. They're also trying to improve their apps, adding better search functions and keeping content around longer. But here's the thing. Even with all these changes, they're still not as convenient as piracy, because at the end of the day, you still need multiple expensive subscriptions, and the corporations can still pull the plug on your favorite show whenever they feel like it. Meanwhile, on pirate sites, everything is just there. Every show, every movie, old, new, obscure, popular, all in one place. No fees, no ads on the good sites, no geo-restrictions, no content disappearing overnight. It just works. The industry brought this on themselves. They got greedy. They saw Netflix's success, and instead of collaborating, they decided to carve up the market for themselves. They thought we would happily pay for 10 different services. They were wrong. There's a concept in economics called the cobra effect. In colonial India, the government offered a reward for every dead cobra to reduce the snake population. So what did people do? They started breeding cobras just to kill them for the reward. When the government scrapped the program, the breeders released their worthless cobras, and the snake problem became worse than ever. That's exactly what happened with streaming. The industry's solution to piracy ultimately made the problem worse. So where does that leave us? Piracy isn't going anywhere. In fact, it's likely to keep growing unless the streaming giants make a radical change. They need to compete with piracy on convenience and price, and right now, they're losing badly. The irony is, they had already won. Back in 2016, streaming had beaten piracy. People were happy to pay for a service that was worth it. But corporate greed destroyed that victory. Piracy won the streaming war, not because pirates did anything revolutionary, but because the streaming services shot themselves in the foot. They won by default. And unless these companies realize that customers have a breaking point, piracy is going to keep on winning. The future of entertainment is uncertain. But right now, if you want to watch anything you want, whenever you want, without restrictions, and without breaking the bank, there's really only one option that truly delivers. And it's not the legal one. Thanks for watching. If you want more deep dives into the weird economics of entertainment, make sure to subscribe to the channel.